Welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. We have an Indiegogo to promote. We have a great sequel to promote, and I have a pumpkin spice latte to sip.
Ooh. Can I do my commercial?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. When I'm on Slasher Scotty, I like to grab myself a genuine Hank's Gourmet orange cream soda. It's crisp and refreshing and good.
Well, as you guessed from the name in the corner of the screen, I have Bobby Heckman on the show, director of Victim No More, and the director, and obviously among other titles, of the upcoming Victim No More 2 Loose Ends, which is exciting. I'm so excited about this. How you doing, Bobby?
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing really, really great. Had an awesome weekend. Had an awesome September Friday the 13th,
Yeah,
where I was in Blairstown, New Jersey,
nice.
which, as we all know, they shot the Friday the 13th original film in
Mhm.
1979, 80.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so James Taffarelli, who plays Jason, and myself, we were there promoting and selling Victim No More merch and meeting a lot of like fans that we had no idea were going to be there, and they just came to our tables and they bought more merch, and it was just a really great time. And we had there was a great cosplayer there, South Jersey Jason,
Nice.
and he dressed like our Jason for the event and walked around and took pictures with people. And he
Wow,
was taking pictures with Ari Lehman and Ron Milkey
that's
uh,
awesome.
from the original Friday 13th. And yeah, and we had a great dinner afterwards. And it was the day that we launched our campaign, which is on right now, Indiegogo.
That's
Indiegogo
so
Loose Ends,
exciting.
Victim No More 2. Donate. And right now we still haven't had our 13th contributor. So if you donate right now, you could be the 13th contributor. Lucky number 13.
There you go. I donate it, and I will tell everybody what
Number
his name.
12.
Right, number 12. I just missed it. I spoke to Bobby before we started recording, and I told him basically that I don't donate to to Indiegogos anymore, just because there's a lot of bad people out there. And if I donate, then I trust you. And guess what? I donated to Bobby. So if I can
Yes.
do it, if you can't do it monetarily, that's fine. Share it. But if you can donate, definitely do it. You will get your perks. You will get your
Yes.
credit to
You
be
will
donated
get
to
your
Indiegogo.
perks, people. That drove me crazy. In fact, like when we did the first Victim No More, um, I think it was because they had all contributed to the campaign, but COVID happened. It was
Hmm.
in 2020, and I knew we had to postpone it an entire year. So we filmed in summer of 21.
Hmm.
And I knew, like, oh my God, all these people are going to be sitting around waiting for a year and a half to get their perks.
Right.
Well, with my own money, I said, I'm mailing all their perks, everything but the Blu-ray, because the
Hmm.
movie wasn't made
Yeah.
yet. So I'm like, they're getting their t-shirts and pins and beanies and hats and everything that they got in their chosen perk.
Right.
So I'm like, so at least that'll like kind of satisfy them for like that summer. And
Hmm.
then so it's like, so then when it came time uh for them to get their Blu-rays and whatever else might be left that we hadn't made yet, uh you know we just shipped them all out and everything. So
Absolutely. So
yes, you
some
get your perks and you don't get
right.
screwed over like so many people have with
I know.
other projects.
Yeah. So somebody wants to donate right now, right?
Yes.
They're watching this and they want to donate right now, but they don't know how to get there. What do they type in? Where do they go to find the Indiegogo?
Well, hopefully put the link in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, uh, the go to Indiegogo crowdfunding
Hmm.
campaign page. Look for Loose Ends, Victim No More Part 2.
Okay.
And it should pop up, and check out our page, see what it's all about, the synopsis, who the main cast is going to be. We got Catherine Mary Stewart back. She was in the original Victim No
Hmm.
More. She helped direct scenes. She's most likely going to be directing a bunch of things in this movie. Uh, if you don't know who Catherine Mary Stewart was, She was in Weekend at Bernie's, Night of the Comet, Last Starfighter back in the 80s. She did a lot of great work.
Hmm.
And Jill Whitlow is coming back, who originally from Night of the Creeps and Weird Science and Porky's. Twice Dead, really cool horror movie back in the late 80s. She is returning as Dr. Cynthia Romero.
Awesome.
And yeah, there's going to be surprise cameos. We're working on a few people, a couple of
Absolutely.
Friday the 13th alumni from the original
There you
franchise
go.
to come back in the movie too.
Awesome.
Not
Awesome.
come back in the movie, come into the
Into the
movie.
movie. Yes,
Into the
awesome.
movie.
And we know that James will be returning as Jason, I'm assuming.
James
Obviously.
Taffarelli will be returning as Jason. Yes.
Awesome. And are we expected to see what's her name? Trish's son, I think it was Rob, the character.
Robbie will not be returning.
Okay.
Hans Hendrickson did a great job in the first movie and everything, but he uh will not be returning as Robbie. His story's kind of done. So
Makes sense.
we're going to be moving on to other people's stories and origins and whatnot.
That
Yes.
makes for a perfect segue. What is the next story to expect? Because as you mentioned in posts that I've seen, this is an anthology. So what are we expecting in Loose Ends Victim No More 2? What is this synopsis? What's this plot about?
Well, first off, I just want to say I always have loved anthology movies.
Same.
Huge fan of Creepshow and Cat's Eye and Body Bags and oh my God, Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. More recently, well, not too recent, but Trick or Treat is great.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I love it.
The Mortuary Collection. You ever see that?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it's really good, really good.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely look that one up.
Yeah.
So I always loved anthology movies, and years ago I wanted to make an anthology movie, and so this kind of scratches that itch. I'm like, well, let me do a Friday 13th anthology movie, and there's plenty of characters from the original film franchise to play with, and
Yeah.
times and settings and everything.
Right. I don't even think that's ever been done before, has it? For Friday
No,
the 13th.
that has definitely never been done before.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I'll make the first
There you
feature
go.
length Friday the 13th anthology film. And it'll also be a sequel to Victim No More. It'll kind of pick up right where the last one left off, and that'll kind of go into the aftermath of what happened. And if you haven't seen the first movie, there's a group of survivors in it that we don't know anything about, really. Just that they might have had dealings with Jason in the past, possibly. So we're going to be going into their backstories. Not all of them, but a handful of them. We're going to go into their backstories, find out what trauma they went through to cause them to meet the others and create a group that can go out there and take down monsters together like Jason Voorhees. And that'll be the segments of the stories.
Okay.
There'll be 4 short tales and a wraparound story.
All right.
And that's it. That's the basis of it. That's
All right.
the synopsis.
So this movie alone is gonna have the 4 short stories in it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. All 4 short stories and the wraparound story.
That's awesome. That's
That
gonna be
book
so
that book
exciting.
ends.
So what made you say, I guess, where'd that concept come from? Like, you know what, Victim No More was a success. Obviously, it was, what, 100,000 views? I think it's at now.
Yes, it's at 100,000 views. I thought by this time it'd be like 1 million views just because
Right.
of some of the actors that we have in it and
Right.
all the positive responses. But that's probably my fault. I'm just not great at promoting, not great at talking about myself. And somebody like Vincente, who like does Never Hike Alone, he's out there every day and probably yeah.
And I
Who knows?
respect
Who
Vincent
knows?
Vicente, but Victim No More,
He's got a lot more money than me and a lot more
right. I
you know.
really didn't care for Never Hike Alone, but Victim No More, personally to me, I thought was a lot better than it. I just thought it was
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And I've heard a bunch of other people say that.
Yeah.
Never Hike Alone is probably still my top
Right.
like fan film. I love that first movie
The
a
first
lot.
movie was really good. I don't know. I just didn't really care for it afterwards.
Yeah, I had my issues with In the Snow and
Yeah.
Never Hike Alone 2,
Yeah.
which I don't think should have been ever called Never Hike Alone 2. It should have been called Never Hike Again, personally, because then I don't know. I have an OCD thing where it's like, well, if there's a two and there's three movies,
Yeah.
basically, like maybe either call it part three or just
Yeah.
call don't put a number on it at all. Just be Never Hike Again,
Right.
and that'll be it. Never Hike in the Snow, Never Hike.
Kind of like they did with I know what you did last summer. I still know what you did last summer,
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing.
exactly. And I have a thing with trilogies, so it's like, oh my god, so it's like, do Never Hike Alone 3 now and just make a trilogy, but
Right.
already three films, so it didn't make any sense to me.
So
Uh,
yeah,
but whatever, they're the ones with the 9 million views or whatever it is,
right. Yeah,
so they're doing
so
something right.
obviously you had like we said, Victim No More. I think it's been very successful. I mean, 100,000, views is very successful. So where'd that concept come from? Like, oh, we need a sequel. Let's do Victim No More 2. Well, we're gonna do Victim No More 2. We're gonna call it Loose Ends. We're gonna make it an anthology. How did this whole concept come about to go from a sequel to an anthology to basically a sequel anthology?
Yes. Well, first off, I think it's successful. The first movie, I think it was successful more in the comments it gets and like
Mhm.
like the positive,
Yeah.
you know, things that people have said about it on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram everywhere. Mainly the YouTube page. They just,
Yeah.
and I appreciate all comments. I even appreciate the negative
Mhm.
remarks that people have. I get a kick out of some of the things that they say, especially when they're like on Jason's side. Like
Yeah.
those people I love because they're like, that's not fair to do that to
Mhm.
Jason. I'm just like,
Yep.
the guy's killed couple hundred people. What do you,
Right.
It's like,
Yeah, like even on
and he
our
always gets stopped at the end of every movie. So what are you talking about?
right, and I know on our fan film, so like the one comment had me rolling. Oh my god, it was so funny because our one female character, teenager female character, was like running, and when she runs, and then she's like goes behind a tree to hide, but she's looking out, and Jason's literally right there, and she's looking to see which part of the woods he's in. And, he's
Yeah,
where he is, and somebody's like, "Well, if she didn't deserve to be killed, then nobody does."
yeah. You're watching a horror movie, folks. Anything can happen.
Right. These are people
Um,
that run upstairs instead of out the front door,
right. But anyway, getting back to your
Yes.
question, I don't know. I just really thought, I mean, I definitely wanted to make a sequel, uh, and kind of play off the success of the first one, but I love the franchise so much that
Mhm.
I definitely had a couple more stories in me. Um, so I said, well, and I don't want to do the same thing over again.
Yeah.
So, and I like to make them all a little bit different. So I said, all right, well, in my mind, I was like, I think I want to make a trilogy. Um, so how about if I make the second movie an anthology film,
Mm.
which, as I said, I love anthology films and
Yeah.
this scratches that itch. Uh, and I could also, in the same time, put in a few of those story ideas that I had.
Right.
And a couple of story ideas that I had years before Victim No More that I kind of adjusted and played with and then made them Friday 13th stories.
Mhm.
Um, so that takes care of the anthology, second film. And the third movie will be, hopefully, I mean, let's make the second one first. Let's raise the
Right.
money for it. But the third movie will be my kind of Frankenstein like
Mhm.
story of a Friday 13th story.
Okay.
Uh, because Jason's my favorite modern day monster. My favorite old school monster is Frankenstein.
Awesome.
And I kind of want to shoot it a little bit differently, and it'll pick up where the second
Mhm.
movie leaves off too. So
Yeah.
there's some continuity there.
Okay.
And with that third movie will be, everything. I'm throwing it all in because it'll be the last time I visit the Friday 13th kind of universe.
Right.
So it's like everything I love about Friday 13th will be in there. I will try to wrap up stories and kind of like weird continuity things in
Okay.
the regular franchise timeline and the Victim No More timeline that might be a little, plot holy. I'll try to
Right.
like tie up those loose ends,
Right.
you know.
So maybe we're gonna be getting sewer Jason and finding out why he turned to a little boy and that now he's an adult, years later and Jason goes to hell.
Well, no spoilers, but I will dip my toes in things that happen at the end of Jason Takes Manhattan.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
in the third movie. But again, it's like my Frankenstein story
Yeah.
of Jason. So it'll be really old school kind of fun. I am obsessed with the Hammer films.
Okay.
So the Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee Hammer films of the
Okay.
late 50s to the mid 70s. I I want to kind of have that feel of
Yeah.
it. Um, and I don't know how many characters, from the first and second film will carry over into the
Yeah.
third. But you just have to let's focus on the second movie,
Absolutely.
and the third is a dream not too far away.
Absolutely. So obviously, I'm assuming you wrote both, and you obviously are going to be directing both. So,
Yes.
before I get into my next question, I do want to ask you. When I first saw the first movie,
Yeah.
wait, that's Bobby Heckman in the background. Are we expecting a Bobby Heckman cameo in two?
There will be a few things that, you know, will um repeat, you know, from the first movie. Yes, there probably will be the Hitchcock, me walking by or standing in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
I I definitely don't want any lines. So
Right, or being the guy that's maybe at like because we've seen in the trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer, by the way, the teaser trailer, go check it out. But we seen like there's like like some type of counseling meeting going on. So maybe you're back there signing in the check-in box, the check-in
the
form.
check-in box at the
Check.
support group meeting.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. It's not a hospital, but yeah,
You here?
you're maybe a
Is
patient.
everybody here? All right. All right, good. Let's talk about killing Jason. All right.
Yeah, right. So,
Uh
so
no,
go ahead.
there, I was just gonna say that no, there'll be a few things that will be repeated.
Okay.
Like little subtle things that happened in the first movie that that you might see in the second
Awesome.
movie if you're like really closely paying attention. Because like the first movie, I tried to put in like those references that aren't like smashing you in the face like
Right.
some of the other fan films do, like where
Yeah.
like some of the fan films, they're just like, hey, let's just repeat the same dialogue from the movies that we love.
Right.
And the fan service watching it, like the viewers are just like, oh, he said that thing from part six, he said that, that's like, I don't like that kind of in your face stuff. I like
Yeah.
kind of putting it subtly in there, like
Yeah.
in the first Victim No More, there's just this like shot of a farm and it said Higgins Farm, and then we just
Right.
pan away from it. It's
Yeah.
like all right, well, the Higgins family, the Higgins Haven from Friday 13th Part 3,
Yeah.
fans know of it. And the fact that I didn't call it Higgins Haven,
Hmm.
I think was better. And we just kept it Higgins Farm,
Yeah.
like kind of implying that maybe the Higgins family are just still part of this town,
Yeah.
and it's aunts and uncles and cousins that kind of live in the
Right.
area.
And hey, Chris might, for all we know, could still live in
It
the
could
area.
be,
She
it could actually
survived.
be, yeah, because
Could be her family.
there's a real thing called survivor's guilt,
Yeah.
and they dealt with it in the
And part two, right? With Adrian.
Right. They did it. Yeah, like she was
Yeah,
nearby the camp area where
yeah,
it happened, and she was on the phone with her mom or whatever, saying like, "This is the
yeah,
only way I know how to deal with it."
yeah,
So, and they dealt with it in the this last Halloween trilogy.
yeah.
Like Jamie Lee Curtis does not move out of the town
Right.
because of all the horrible things that happened there.
Yep.
It's almost like she feels like she deserves to suffer and still continue to live there.
Right. And
So,
she feels like she needs to be that one to confront that demon, that monster, and maybe be the one that is the stop to it, because she was the reason why he's here now, even though they got rid of the whole brother sister thing, you know?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's that
Yeah.
survivor guilt.
It's a survivor's guild. So yeah, so Chris Higgins could live in the town, and maybe that was her farm.
Right.
She
She could
had
have her kids and or maybe grandkids even, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
and there is a character at the end of Victim No More that I call Higgins,
Nice.
and it's the woman that has like an axe on her shoulder, and she's kind
Okay.
of wearing like similar clothing
Okay.
that Dana Kimmel wears in part three.
Okay. So
So
maybe
I kind of
hey,
I kind of like echo that a little bit, and it's a gray
maybe
hair
that's a
woman.
Chris.
It could be Chris. I just
Right.
called her Higgins.
Right.
So it's kind of up to the viewer,
Yeah.
like on who that woman is.
Yeah.
Um, but I like to think that it's Chris Higgins, and she's holding like an
Yeah.
old axe, to like
Yeah.
finish the job.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Um, so you'll see a little bit of a nod to that in the next movie.
So
Yes.
obviously directing Victim No More, and you're going to be directing Victim No More 2. Obviously, you haven't started filming Victim No More 2, but what have you done in Victim No More, the first one, that you might want to change, or you might want to add to your directing to the second movie? Maybe like not make repeats, or maybe you would like to add something to your skill set that you think that would make the movie even better, because it is now a full feature.
Right. Yes. Well, first off, I think I'm going to be way more focused on
Mhm,
making the film. Um, I was going through something like really personal
mhm,
while making the first movie. That was traumatizing,
mhm,
in itself. So trying to keep the 100% focus on directing and
mhm,
getting things that I did and being satisfied by everything I'm shooting, just kind of was almost impossible to, you know,
mhm.
get in that right frame of mind. Um, so I'm clear of all that. So it's great to be going into a project,
Yeah,
being very passionate about it, having all the support of like friends and family around
yeah.
me, um and I just think, my focus will be, you know,
Mhm.
exactly where I want it to be.
Right. And plus with COVID
uh,
not being as bad as it was
oh
back
yeah,
in
yeah,
that was horrible. Like that was the start before the vaccinations, before we knew a lot about it. So like, that's just the postponing alone had to mess with your mind.
yeah, yeah, that was an issue because I work in a hospital, my
Right.
normal day job. So
Okay.
I was dealing with COVID, in other ways, and I always
Yeah.
had to wear a mask all day long for like a couple of years. It was like 3 years straight.
Right.
um, it was bad, and seeing what was going on at the hospital was just terrible.
I
Like the
bet.
the ice trucks and the loading dock just stacked with the bodies was just like,
That's horrible.
if people think this is a hoax, like this is
Right.
like
Yeah.
come to the back of a hospital where you're doing the morgue runs for the funeral directors and
Wow.
everything, and like the bodies were just, it
Wow.
was crazy.
I bet.
But anyway, um so I'm just really excited to get back in the director's chair and just
Yeah.
like make this film. And it's going to be different because there will be nighttime scenes. So I've
Okay.
never, I'm interested. I'm going to be working with the same cinematographer, Sean King, and
Okay.
we're going to see how shooting scenes at night and just,
Hmm.
you know, getting into the atmosphere of some of the
Right.
stories, and
I'll
different
give
kinds of lighting. We're gonna do like experimental kind of
This is
stuff.
what I was gonna
That
say. I was
might
gonna
be
give you
fun.
advice. Don't just you go off a natural light, because that's what ruined a lot of our night scenes in our first movie, was thinking the moonlight and the stars
Oh no,
be enough,
yeah,
but no, it's not enough. That was a
no, it's
mistake that
not.
we made.
Yeah, no, I mean Sean is a professional cinematographer.
He did a great job in the first one.
Yeah, you've seen the first movie,
Hmm.
so you know what he
Yeah,
can do.
yeah,
So,
absolutely.
and the trailer looks great, I
Yeah,
think. So, but we're gonna do some little bit of experimental kind of fun things, and I know Sean's excited about that because
yeah,
the last thing Sean, like his least favorite thing to shoot is like establishing shots, like kind
mhm,
of like the city shots in the beginning of the first
right.
one, like that kind of stuff is like boring to him.
Yeah,
But in my mind, it's like, yo, it kind of opens up the movie in a fun
yeah,
way. We need establishing shots of like the houses and stuff like that.
right. Kind of like they did in Jason Takes Manhattan, like in the opening shot, they had, the darker side of the night playing. They showed all the exterior shots of like what you're
Right.
gonna see throughout the movie in New York, or
Yeah,
like
and I can understand that, for a cinematographer,
yeah,
that like that stuff can be kind of boring because there's no
yeah,
motion going on and like
right,
there's no actors going on and light
yeah,
bouncing off of them and
yeah,
so. But for me, it's like it's a necessity
yeah,
if you're trying to like
yeah,
make it look like an actual movie.
absolutely.
Um, but yeah, so I'm excited about that. And it's not like all the stories will look different from each other.
Hmm.
They will all kind of have the same feel, but there will be moments in those stories. Um, yeah, that
Yeah.
will kind of, yeah. So
So does
yeah,
Jason
it,
still
it'll
have
be
the
it'll be
sack head?
interesting. What's up?
Does Jason still have the sack head, or
I cannot reveal
can't
such
reveal that?
things. I cannot
All
reveal
right.
such things. Well,
Honest,
you've seen the trailer. You saw that there is a Jason in there with a hockey mask.
that is true. That is true.
So, and I know this is like just a promo teaser trailer that we just kind of
Right.
shot just to like help with the campaign and like raising
Right.
money and kind of giving you the gist of like what could
Right.
be in the movie. But I like to think that the scenes that we did shoot and the support group scenes
Hmm.
like are actual things that happen in the movie.
Okay.
Um, it might be shot or lit a little bit differently. Um, like say that one shot of the girl on the beach, that it might be a different beach that we shoot on,
Right.
but you might not tell.
Yeah.
And the angle of the little girl hiding under the bed,
Hmm.
that might be a different bed or
Okay.
setting a
Yeah.
little bit, um, but yeah, I can't tell you if like he
Yeah. I
um
I personally think it was a very, I wouldn't even really say ballsy. I would say it was a good like, risk for having him as sack, because everybody when they see Jason they associate him with the mask, like in
yeah.
the hockey mask. But you in the original Victim No More, you had him in the sack.
Hmm.
And I thought that was scary. I even think to this day the sack hit in part 2 is scarier than the hockey mask. I mean, imagine a maniac coming at you with a freaking pitchfork and a with a potato sack over his head and and one eye hole.
Yeah,
That's scary.
I think it's way more creepy
Yeah.
for the sack and one eye hole because then you're just like, well, why isn't there two holes for
Right.
his eyes? Like, is there something wrong with the other side of the face? What?
Right.
There's much more mystery going on when you're
Yes.
almost completely covered up. Um, but let me just say, I think let's just say you will see Jason in the sack and you will see Jason in the hockey mask,
Okay. There you go.
if
So
that's fair enough.
there you go.
But not in the ways you might think,
You
you'll
might
see
not
him.
think. Okay.
Yeah.
And I love the name of the Survivors Guild. I love it being called the Survivors Guild. It would be
Survivor
stupid.
Squad.
Survivor
Squad.
Squad. Sorry, Survivor
Yeah.
Squad. Where did I get it from? Survivor Squad. I think that's
The
amazing.
Bankers Guild.
Right. So it basically makes you think, obviously, that all of these people had at least some type of encounter with Jason. Obviously, we know that. So it makes you wonder, like, you look at all the people and you think, huh, who can they be? Are they past final girls? Are they people we've never seen in the movies before? You think that, and I think that's really cool. I think that it's a way to introduce them with different actors playing them, and I think it's a great way to have that, I guess, enemy, that rival of Jason that he really needs. I've always said that I would like when the Friday the 13th came out, it would be so
Yeah.
cool if all the final girls came back, the original final girls, to kick his ass. And he
Yeah,
kills
I
them
mean
off one by one.
that was completely at the top of the list when I was going to make a
Mhm.
Friday 13th tribute film or fan film.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, well, it'd be great to end the movie with all the survivors surrounding Jason and getting ready to take him down or
Yeah.
something. But and that since we were kids, that's what
Yeah.
we thought, like, oh, in the 13th movie, they're gonna have
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But that's just never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen in the regular franchise. Whenever
And
it does get picked up by
right.
somebody, they're gonna ignore everything that came before and just do their
Yeah.
own thing,
And the
which is
main
fine.
reason
But
why is because like if they bring back Megan, like they have to automatically recast anyways because Jennifer Cook isn't coming back.
no,
She's
no.
not.
Hopefully they
It's
get
just
Catherine Mary
fact.
Stewart.
Right, exactly. It's just fact.
Right.
And I mean, if anything, get Catherine Mary Stewart to come in. She's a hell of an actress.
She's great. She's still a working actress. She just did
Right.
like a Law and Order, at the I think it was last year.
Hmm.
She does all these like Hallmark movies and stuff.
Nice.
And it's like
Yeah.
I'm like she likes having a gun in her hand, and
I love it.
um but yeah, that was at the top of the list. I'm like I thought it would be great to like and originally I wanted to get Amy Steele to show up at the end of the movie. We got her voice doing the
Mhm.
narration, but like she was supposed to be the one that blows off Jason's arm. Spoilers. Um
Right.
at the end of the first movie and everything.
Right.
But COVID happened and
Yeah.
she wasn't going to leave her state for like a year and it
Mhm.
just didn't work out.
Yeah.
But
That would have been badass though.
yeah, no, that would have been great. But you'll find out in our anthology film that not everybody had dealings with Jason.
Okay.
Um, Especially some of the younger um cast members.
Okay.
Some of them didn't deal with Jason, but they dealt with characters from the Friday 13th,
Okay.
franchise that kind of spun out. Like they dealt with like either like relatives or um characters,
Okay.
so you'll find out in that sense.
Awesome.
So
That,
it'll just be interesting on like what people think of it,
that's
because it'll be
awesome.
different, but hopefully you like it enough to watch all the stories
Yeah.
and see what happens. You know.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for it. When do you start filming and do you have a possible release? I wouldn't say release date, but release year or even month.
Well, no filming can be done without the campaign
That is
reaching
true.
its goals. Uh, which we have the set goal on the Indiegogo campaign, but we want to go way beyond that.
Of
So
course, yeah.
we're really hoping to go so everybody can be like well taken care of, and we get
Hmm.
better production quality and special effects and everything. So let's try to
Yeah.
get that done. But the goal is to try to film in spring of next
Okay.
year, 2025. We're going to take a 2 month break in the summertime.
Okay.
Maybe we could like generate some more funds in that summertime,
Yeah.
or even start editing the film. So half the movie will be shot in the spring and half of it will be shot in the fall, and
Okay.
for an ultimate release date at the end of the year of
Okay.
2025. If something happens, then yes, it'll come out in 2026.
Okay.
So, but hopefully that won't happen, and it could be a Christmas, miracle that'll come out like December of 25.
Yeah, that would
So,
actually be really, really cool. Or if you do it in the 2026, February 2026 has a Friday the 13th. Just saying.
That is pretty great. I mean, I know June 13th, 2025 is a Friday 13th, which is perfect because it's Jason's
Right.
actual birthday.
Yes.
And sorry, something came up on my screen and I had to click it off. Um, so yeah, I mean, well, we'll have to see how the editing is going and
Yeah.
everything's getting put together and how long it's going to be. I'm hoping that it's not longer than 90 minutes because for low budget movies being longer than 90 minutes, I sometimes, whew,
It has to be a really good movie. Like I have yet
yeah.
to see Terrifier 2, believe it or not. I
Oh,
I did get the Blu-ray
fun.
to it, and I'm gonna be watching it either tonight or sometime this week. But Terrifier 2, from what I was told from a couple of people, that it's a good movie, but it's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours. It's like
Yeah.
Titanic, almost Titanic level long.
No horror films should really
Yeah,
go past 90 minutes as far as comedies and horror. Just
yeah,
90 minutes, you're in and out, you
yeah,
know? And some of them, like, it's fine if they go to an hour and 40, hour and 45 minutes.
yeah,
But once they hit like a 2 hour mark,
yeah,
I'm just like, and I can easily see like, oh my God, these last 15 minutes, like just
yeah.
let's wrap this up.
Yeah, like I know our first full feature, our first movie was an hour and 18. And even, I mean, there was a lot of mistakes made, but even that seemed long because, it's an indie, it's a low budget indie film, and you can only go so much with the storyline that is your first movie in low budget, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like you said, 90 minutes is really good. I think they said Terrifier 3 is going to be like maybe 2 hours,
Yeah, just
which is still 30 minutes less than what it was, but still 30 minutes longer than it should be.
yeah, that's and I like Terrifier too. I
Yeah.
really did. But near the end, I was like thinking back on what I just watched. I'm like, well, it's 20 minutes of this movie
Mhm.
that could easily not be there.
Yeah.
Um, there was a scene specifically near the end. Well, you didn't see it yet,
No,
so
you can spoil it. I don't care.
that's not really a spoiler. But there's
Okay.
two characters just sitting in a car, like doing drugs and talking
Oh,
for like a long time, and I'm just like, what is going on? Especially when they should be helping their friend who's looking for her
yeah.
brother. It's like I didn't understand
Yeah.
so it's like cut this stuff out. When it comes
Yeah.
to low budget movies, I mean not I mean Terrified 2 was a low budget movie, but it was well made.
Yeah. And it made
Um
a shit ton of money too.
yeah, but sometimes you get certain low budget movies where it's filmed in two locations
Yeah.
and it's nothing but dialogue
Yeah.
and dialogue that's like repeating itself.
Yeah.
And like I feel like Charles Band has this issue. No offense to like Full Moon fans and
hmm
Charles Band fans and everything, because I'm a massive Full Moon fan.
hmm
Um, but he put out a couple recent movies that I'm just like, again, they're just shot in like two or three locations, and
Yeah.
and it's just the dialogue is just
hmm
it's so repetitive and kind of
Yeah.
boring to me.
Right.
So
Like even like in the original Friday the 13th, I loved the movie to death. But when I watched it from a critical point of view for when I was doing like a podcast of reviewing movies, there was one scene that really, really bugged me that didn't need to go on as long as it did, and that was Alice making that damn coffee.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I get what they were doing. They wanted the scene to breathe a little bit,
Right.
for the viewer to like. And I did that too in Victim No More. I made
Yeah.
scenes just a little bit longer,
Right.
just for the audience to kind of anticipate what might happen,
Right.
and also think about what has happened up until that point.
Yep.
You give this a little break. Like I have Robbie in Victim No More kind of walking around the woods and kind of finding his way through the woods,
hmm
and you're just kind of like it's kind of a moment that I'm giving the audience to kind of think about what's going
Yeah.
on. Like just like when's he going to run into Jason?
Yeah.
What's going on with the couple? and what could happen next.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get moments like that, but there's entertaining ways of pushing forward the story.
Yeah.
Like multiple locations, I think really helps.
Yeah.
Um, like Friday the 13th, they shot it like, yeah, a lot of people find the first movie kind of boring here and there.
Right.
But at least like you're going to different places, you're filming
Yeah.
different things. Like you go away from the camp at one point to go to the diner, and
Right.
what Steve Christie is gets picked up by the cop, and they're driving back, and it's
Yeah.
like you can go other places and
Hmm.
keep it moving.
Yes.
I tried to do that with Victim No More. It starts off in the city, then we go to the woods, and then Robbie's driving around in his car,
Hmm.
and this costs nothing, like
Yeah.
really. So it's like, so for movies, when Charles Band puts out a movie that costs way more than Victim No More, I'm kind of wondering like,
Where's the money going?
where's the money going if
Yeah.
it's all taking place here with just two people talking to each
Yeah.
other for like a half hour?
Hmm.
It's like you keep everything in motion, and like, I don't know. It's how I look at things. So
Yeah.
it's all subjective. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yeah. So, with four short stories and a wraparound, I'm going to be going to multiple different locations. So hopefully that'll just keep a good pace for the whole film. So,
Absolutely. So obviously, Victim No More, for those watching this, can see the first movie on YouTube.
mhm.
If they want to buy a Blu-ray copy, obviously you can get a perk to get the Blu-ray copy of Victim No More with
Yes,
the other
we
stuff.
we actually we actually shut down the merch page from our website,
Okay.
victimnomorefilm.com. If you go to the website right now,
Okay.
there'll be a huge poster of loose ends. You
Okay.
click on that, it brings you to the campaign page.
Okay.
So you can just get perks there. And the first Victim No More Blu-ray is part of a bunch of the perks.
Yep. That was one of
So
the
you can
perks
see
I
it that.
got.
Yeah, so you got two
Yeah.
copies now,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Exactly. I want, and I got the Jarvis sandwich perk. That
Yes.
was synonymous to me because for those that aren't on my Facebook and haven't seen the picture, I literally got a Jarvis sandwich from Bobby
That's
and
right.
Kimberly.
And Kimberly Beck, Trish Jarvis.
Yes.
Yeah, three of us. Was that my idea or was that yours?
That was your idea actually.
Oh, okay. It's like, let's get
Yeah, I was surprised. You're like Kimberly. You want to give him a Jarvis sandwich? And she's like, absolutely. And we both just jumped on me and hugged me, and the person got a picture. I'm like,
she's
this
the
is
best.
awesome.
She is the most huggable person on the planet. She
And
is
it
the
was funny because like I met her. I think it was a Friday. I saw her, and then Saturday was really busy, and I know I was really busy that day as well. And then Sunday, I just basically lurked at her table the whole time talking to her, and she freaking loved talking to me. She's like, Scotty, you were such a kind person. I love talking to you.
yeah. She's one of the best. She's one of
Yeah,
my favorite people. She's become one of my best friends.
yeah.
We talk, and whenever I go to California, I go to her house, and
Hmm.
or we meet up somewhere, and you know, hang
Yeah,
out, and she's the best. She's
she's
absolutely
absolutely
the best.
amazing. Really is a sweet person. If you're at any conventions that she's at, definitely go and stop by her table. You won't regret it. I mean, obviously I'm really good friends with
Absolutely.
Bobby, so I can't promise everybody getting a Jarvis sandwich.
Yeah,
but
no, that,
but
that that is definitely not a thing she'll do for everybody. So,
right, but I can
but if
promise
it's
you
one of
that
my friends and I'm there with her,
right.
and you
Yes.
know,
Absolutely. But I
but
can promise you that meeting her will be something you will not regret at all because she's an absolutely delight meet.
yeah,
And she's also one of those celebrities that because conventions got very expensive lately. And
oh yeah,
she's one of those celebrities that charges a very reasonable price and
yes.
you get more than what you're spending. You're getting that good experience.
Yes, you're getting a great experience. She'll stand there and talk to you for
Yeah.
however long. If it's not
Yeah.
if the line isn't crazy long, she'll sit there and talk to you for
Yep.
a while, and
Yeah.
she's
Like I
great.
Yeah, I
So,
spent literally my whole Sunday just talking to her, and like we were just talking and having a good time. And then every time she would have somebody come up to her table, I just step aside, let them go up, and then
that's the
I
considerate thing to do. Yeah.
exactly. And then once she had nobody else in the line, I talked because Sunday was always dead because that's the last day. Most people are gone
Yeah,
by.
especially if it's like 1:30 in the afternoon on a
Yeah,
Sunday. Like, all right,
exactly.
everybody's
And
wrapping up and
right, and I had to wait till like 3 o'clock because I had a photo op with Kane, and his photo op was until 3 in the afternoon,
right, I
and
remember that.
I
I
couldn't
remember that.
go to my hotel room because I was checkout was 11, so
Yeah.
I'm there talking to her with my suitcase.
And you know what we did right after that convention? Me
What?
and Kimberly? Things slowed down and we packed up and we left. We went to Costco, her favorite place to go,
Nice, nice.
and
That's
got a hot
awesome.
dog.
That's awesome. Yeah, great person. So if anybody's at a convention that Kimberly's at, definitely go up there and meet her. You will not regret it.
Yeah, and everybody, Amy Steele, Adrian
Yeah.
King,
I haven't met
any of the
Amy or
final
Adrian
girls.
yet, and I
So.
really want to meet them.
Oh, you haven't met Amy yet? Oh
Not
my God.
yet. I really want to meet her. Every time she's at Monster Mania, she's not at the Baltimore.
Oh my God. Did you see the video I posted of me, Adrian, and Amy hanging out in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania?
I don't think I did.
Oh,
Facebook's algorithms are really bad. I don't see a lot of people's posts and they're like, "Did
oh
you
my
see this?" I'm
God.
like, "No, I didn't," but I will go and look for it now.
Yeah, go look for it. It's either on my Instagram or
Okay.
it'll be on Instagram and Facebook. But
Okay.
I didn't post the one with Adrian, but there's a guy that dresses like a plant
Okay.
and he just kind of like pops out and like scares people on the
Oh
street.
yeah, I've seen those YouTube videos.
Yeah, okay, so you've seen them. So
Yeah.
this is the same. It's probably the same guy.
Yeah.
So I got Adrian and she got scared and then like me and Adrian tried to set up Amy to like get scared by him. So we're walking down the street together and me and Adrian were both like, she's not gonna nothing phases Amy. She's not gonna get scared.
Right. I mean,
Um
she literally battled Jason. I
yeah,
don't, and
exactly.
she literally
Well, Jason,
was
she
under
ain't
a
gonna
bed with a
scare the
real
Amy.
freaking rat.
Right. So it's a funny video. Just
Yeah.
just go to
I'll,
my
I'll have to check it
Instagram
out.
or Facebook page. I might have even put it on my Victim No More page on Facebook,
That's
just
awesome.
because it was
I'll definitely
funny.
have to check it
Oh, I
out.
definitely did because it got like 1,000 views like right away.
Nice, nice. All
Um,
right, so let's wrap things up. Last question.
yes.
Anything else to promote? Obviously, we have the Indiegogo covered. If you're watching this, check out the Indiegogo. Donate. You will get your perks guaranteed. You're donating to an indie film, supporting indie filmmakers like Bobby, and you're gonna get a really good movie. If the first Victim No More has anything to say about it, the second one's gonna be even better. I can't wait. So check that out. And do you have any like social media or anything that you would like to promote where people can go and see whatever they want to see?
Well, if you go to victimnomorefilm.com, you'll see that the link will be there. If you just click on the
Okay.
poster, this poster, it'll bring you right to the Indiegogo campaign.
Mhm.
Please contribute. It'll be totally worth your while.
Yeah.
Victim No More. You can find us on Facebook, VNM_2020. That's the Instagram for that. I'm not on TikTok or anything. Maybe I should be one day. But what else?
X, Twitter, whatever they want to
No,
call it
I don't. I
nowadays.
don't do Twitter either. I got sick of Twitter, so I
Yeah.
just left it. Uh, but yeah, or you could just you could reach out to me through those pages and
Yep.
yeah, follow us. We're always updating what's going on. I'm always posting fun
Hmm.
photos and
Yep.
go to the YouTube page, please. The YouTube
Yes.
page, 3PD Films. That's 3PD Films on YouTube. That's our channel. That's where you can see Victim No More. That's where you can see all behind the scenes stuff.
Nice.
You could see VIP parties, at Monster Mania, like
Hmm.
filming the final girls and us all having
Yeah.
fun. Bloopers I throw up there with a few things. Yeah, I put up a whole bunch of, and the teaser trailer for Loose Ends is up there too.
Absolutely.
But also another thing I wanted to help promote is my cinematographer, Sean Q. King,
Hmm.
and he wrote and directed a movie last fall,
Okay.
and you could find it. It's out there right now. It's called Screamwalkers.
Okay.
It's kind of like if you mixed like Scream and the Stephen King Sleepwalkers movie together.
Okay.
And it's a shot on video, like shot with like mid 90s camcorders, so it looks like
Awesome.
real old school home movie footage, stuff
Awesome.
that like we would shoot, friends in our backyards with and stuff like
Right.
that back in the day. So it's a 90s style shot on video horror movie, supernatural horror movie, crazy film. It was an awesome experience.
Okay.
I'm one of the executive producers of it and help come up with story elements to
Okay.
it too. Um, but yeah, super proud of it. It's super fun. It's super awesome. You can't find it on like, any streaming services right now. He's out there promoting it. He's actually at Horror Hound Weekend
Okay.
this weekend right now, promoting it and doing really well, and it's getting the word out. Um, there is a story of why it can't be picked up right now
Okay.
and it has to do with the mask that is used for the film.
Okay.
But that's for him to tell you the story. So follow Sean Q King on Facebook, or look up Screamwalkers movie on Instagram
Okay.
and Facebook, and you'll see what it's all about.
Absolutely. And if
And
he wants to come onto the show, I'll be more than happy to interview him and
oh,
promote the
absolutely.
movie for him. I would love to do that.
Okay, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
pass on the word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah, no, it's and he'll tell you the whole story of
Yeah.
how he came up with the idea and what it's
Yeah.
about and everything. So
Awesome.
Screamwalkers.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Bobby, for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yep,
Have a good one.
absolutely. We'll definitely do it again. I know maybe closer to when it's coming out, we can promote the release date for it.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Or maybe in that halfway through filming, like
Yeah.
next summer or something like that. Like,
Yeah,
oh, halfway
absolutely.
done, and I could talk about the experience.
That'll be great. Absolutely.
And we'll have some genuine Hank's Gourmet orange cream soda
Maybe I'll get myself one of those. We'll promote it together because
from
I don't think
Cracker
pumpkin
Barrel.
spice will be in. Yep. Well, thank you, Bobby. You have a great rest of your day, buddy.
You too. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.